What's up, everybody? Welcome to Awesome Comics, your one-stop shop for everything comic book entertainment. I am your host today, Walter Benaziak, and we have two special guests on the show. But let me tell you what we're talking about. We're talking about the worst, dirt worst, and we have got some bad ones, guys. The worst of Marvel's comic book villains. There are a few really bad ones that we're going to discuss first, but before we go into that, we're going to remind you to like the Facebook page. Facebook.com/AwesomeComicsShow. We have new videos that go up in there every single Thursday and sometimes more than once a week, so make sure you check out that Facebook page. This past week, Heather and Lucas, right?
Yeah.
What were you guys talking about?
We tasted a nerdy beer, Death Star.
Death Star.
Yes, by Revolution Brewing here in Chicago, and it was awesome.
That's great.
You should check it out.
Yes.
Facebook.com/AwesomeComicsShow.
Check it out for that exclusive content. And Heather, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine. You know, just chilling Saturday. So.
Yeah, chilling out. We film these on Saturday.
Sorry about that.
The illusion is broken.
Way
to go.
I mean, it's not live?
This isn't live right now.
Everything.
This isn't happening this very moment. Jim, what's going on? Jim J. Ross.
Yeah, not too much. Things are good.
Back on the show?
Back on the show, yeah.
How's it feel?
Yeah, good. You know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I know
Whenever I
you...
need to fit in and Channel Awesome, I just fit in. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
What, there's an empty chair? I'll feel it.
Exactly. I know you're excited to talk about your guy today.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
All right, this is going to be fun to talk about. All right, well, we're going to start with Heather. Ladies first here. Who is your worst Marvel Comics villain ever?
Okay, so I think one of the worst Marvel comic villains ever is Matador.
Matador?
Matador, yes. He mostly fights Daredevil. And first popped onto the scene in 1964. And one of the best things, I think, about him, in the worst way, of course, is that he has no superpowers whatsoever.
None?
He is just literally a matador.
Okay.
that is it.
Yeah.
He, like, apparently he's a good sword fighter, and, like, he's very agile.
He's a good He's an average sword fighter.
He has no superpowers. He actually does the shtick where he, like, just waves the red cloth in front of people. Like, his whole origin story. The best part about it is that he fights Daredevil. Exactly. So he like waves this red cloth in front of Daredevil, and Daredevil's like, "I see right through your ploy. I'm blind," and just tackles him.
You're supposed to run after this because it's red. Wait, what?
Right.
It's the same color as your suit. I'm blocked. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of the times, he comes back a couple of times, and a lot of the times he's taken out by like a single punch. Because again, he has no superpowers.
Is he a joke? Is he just a joke?
I mean, he's
taken out by one punch.
He's in the, gosh, what is it called? Emissary of Evil, I think is what it is that Daredevil has, and it's like Matador, Leapfrog, who is also terrible. Stilt-man's in there too. Like, it's not great. Daredevil has some.
These guys like needed to form a group because they're like, all right, we're doing terrible out there. We have terrible ideas. We have no superpowers.
Right.
So
here we go. Yeah, no, his origin story is even ridiculous in that Manuel, that's who his real identity is. He's like the greatest bullfighter in all of Spain, but he is too cruel to the animals. So let that one sink in. Because as a bullfighter,
all the other bullfighters like, no, you're worse.
Right.
I mean, we all stab bulls, but
but he's the
seem
worst.
to really enjoy it.
So then at one of his matches, people like riot. They riot in the streets because he is just so cruel to these bulls, and that makes him turn on humanity. He swears revenge on all of humanity because they can't handle the fact that he's a mean bullfighter.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And then for some random reason, so he was mostly, like I said, 1964 was when he first appeared on the scene. And then for some reason, randomly, in Daredevil Volume 2, Issue 89 in 2006, he shows up again, but it's not the same guy. It's not Manuel. It's like some random guy named Juan who does not have the same backstory. Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have the same backstory at all. He's hired by someone to like foil Daredevil's plans and then like never shows up again.
When was this? 2006?
Yes, 2006.
Wow. That had to be a joke. Like that
had to have been a joke. But it's a little insane.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's ridiculous. Matador.
It's
Was he have different motivations?
Yeah, he was just hired. He was hired by Vanessa Fisk
Oh, okay.
to foil foil Daredevil's plans.
To foil his plan.
Foil his plans with his
cape.
red cape. Yeah, in one of his first appearances, he robs an armored truck by flagging it down and then tosses the red sheet onto the windshield of the armored car. And they're like, oh God, what do we do? It's a sheet!
We didn't plan for this, Joe.
Right.
That's awesome. Let's get him to show up again. He'd be a completely different guy. Do you have someone worse than Matador?
I don't know if he's necessarily worse, but he's in the same vein. He's in the league, right?
Right.
My guy is stilt-man. Okay.
Stilt-man.
So stilt-man, also a Daredevil villain. He got all the winners. I guess because it was like, he's blind. You know, they're like, well, he's not going to judge us on how stupid we look.
So we might as well.
Yeah, right. So stilt-man is basically exactly what he sounds. He's a suit with telescopic legs, which allow him to propel him in the air and walk over things, okay? This also leaves him terribly susceptible to just being pushed over, which happens repeatedly. So I don't know why.
To walk over things. The power to walk over things.
Well, yeah, wasn't it initially, it was for like heists that were on the top floor is initially why he built it?
Yeah.
So he just
I don't want to take the elevator.
Right.
It's much easier just to go up to the window.
Yeah, knock on the window.
I got
Give
this.
me all your money.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they just push him over.
But there is kind of like an iconic, I feel like an iconic cover of Daredevil where it's like a worm's eye view of you see like stilt-man and like Daredevil's like swinging past his legs kind of, you know.
Yeah.
But
That's stilt-man.
Right, and he was co-created by Stan Lee.
Was he?
Stan Lee and Wally Wood, I think, were the original creators. So, you know, it's like when the well's drying up, you got to come up with ideas.
Stilt-man. What year was he created in? Was 60s, you said?
65, I think.
65, man. 60s. I mean, because I guess that's the Silver Age, right? So they're throwing out a ton of weird stuff then. Some of it stuck. Spider-Man.
Sure.
I could stick to walls and climb up walls. The amazing.
Right.
That's it. The Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, wasn't he originally even like going to be a fly or something, like Flyman?
Yeah, he said he saw a fly crawl on the wall and was like, that'd be great if he could stick to walls. Wow, whenever a superhero like that. Whoa. Yeah. I don't know why my Stan Lee impression is always 90-year-old Stan Lee. He was always 90 years old.
He was always
That's the most
like
fun.
that.
Yeah, basically, just has to talk a little bit slower, that's all. I'm only 40 years old. All right, well.
But Stilt-man was around for a while, too.
Wait, was he a recurring villain?
Like
he
36,
popped up a lot, huh?
Yes, he really did.
Oh,
it's
wow.
crazy.
Was he also, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but did he also fight Spider-Man occasionally?
He did.
I
mean, he's
another,
been
like,
around
terrible
for a while
matchup.
too. It was a couple of different people in the suit. And for a while, like, Thor apprehended his suit or something. Like, Thor beat him and then, like, took his suit
We gotta
away.
call him
Oh my God.
He fought Iron Man at some point because they're like, he's got a mechanized suit, he's got a mechanized suit.
Sure.
Why not? Like,
His legs extend. He's basically a prototype for Inspector Gadget.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
He had a female counterpart as well, too.
Really?
Who was
Stilt woman?
No, that would be the logical thing, right? She was Lady Stilt-man.
Lady Stilt-man. Holy
Lady
cow.
Stilt-man
Lady Stilt-man?
fought Deadpool. So probably a little bit of a joke. She fought Deadpool.
Is this recently?
I don't even, let's see, I
Like
can't even
2000s,
see.
I'm guessing?
Amazing Spider-Man number 611 is what I have written
Okay,
down
that's
here.
down the road a piece. I don't know
Yeah.
when that was.
So Deadpool actually defeated her by doing what, as you would with a stilt person, removing a manhole cover, and she just stepped right into it, as Deadpool would.
Right. That would, you know, Spider-Man, I think you could do like the Empire Strikes Back Hoth battle thing where you just wrap around his legs and fall over.
Which is, I think, what happened, but.
That's
A
awesome.
couple of times.
Right.
Spider-Man. It seems like Spider-Man and Daredevil share a lot of villains because Kingpin is the main villain for Daredevil and is also a big villain for Spider-Man. So maybe because I mean they're in New York too, so it seems like they share the good and the bad villains, I guess.
Right. Well, like Leapfrog or what was one of our?
Yeah, Leapfrog or something like that.
That was definitely a Spider-Man, also villain or whatever.
Another fun fact about Stilt-man, though, when he was operated by Turk, he was rejected from Kingpin's gang. He like came to be like, I'm gonna be an assassin for you, and Kingpin was like, no thanks.
I don't
No
think.
thanks,
Like, even
friend.
I think you're a joke.
It's ridiculous. All right, well, Stilt-man and Minotaur are pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. That's bad. But this might be worse, okay? Okay. You ready? Asbestos Man. This is a real,
You can't even say it.
I
You
know.
can't even say it with
the
a
real
straight
deal.
face.
Not to be confused with Asbestos Lady.
No, they're
from
two
the
separate
40s.
people.
They're completely separate villains. They both fought the Fantastic Four, though, I think, or at least the Human Torch in the 40s. Asbestos Man. Okay, so not like I said, not to be viewed with Asbestos Lady, but this was also in the 60s. This was 1963. He was originated in and also co-created by Stan Lee.
Again, see, they're just throwing ideas.
We need something that's fire retardant.
Right. All this stuff on the wall.
Yeah. What are they building? Asbestos.
I want to hear Stan Lee say asbestos. Just imagine him saying asbestos.
Asbestos Man.
It's got to be somewhere on the internet.
Right. No,
Find it for us, internet.
I'm sure there's like an old interview with him.
Yeah,
or something
right.
talking about it.
Yeah. What is your favorite villain you've ever created, Stan?
Well, back in the 60s, we came up with a villain named Asbestos Man. And he was made of asbestos.
He's not exactly made of asbestos, but he does have a super asbestos suit. Remember, a super asbestos suit. That's important there. Yeah, he's basically made to fight the Human Torch because he is fire retardant, whatever. His suit is ridiculous. I mean, I'll show a picture of it here, but he has like this ridiculous mask and a net. He has a net and a shield.
Asbestos net.
Asbestos net is super asbestos net, which catches things, I guess. I guess it's to encase the Human Torch. I don't know.
But the Human Torch can just fly.
Right, I guess.
Right.
I guess not. But I mean, just when I was looking up villains for this too, it's just like Asbestos Man. I'm just like, really?
That's a real
That's
thing.
a thing?
Asbestos Man. It sounds like a joke. It sounds like
does.
a Family Guy joke or something.
Right.
It does. It
But,
sounds like
back in the 40s, 50s,
Right,
60s,
we didn't know until like the 80s, I think, that asbestos was
Yeah.
dangerous. So I guess this is like makes sense for that time
It
period.
was a logical leap.
Right.
It's such a weird joke now, though. Like, for sure. Asbestos
For
Man.
sure. Well, and then ultimately.
Right. The funniest thing about this, right? This guy, by the way, was
Funny
a
and
doctor, Dr. Orson Karloff. So that's great. He was not too smart of a doctor, but so he shows
God,
Karloff.
doesn't deserve to smell my shit.
Exactly. Exactly. But he only showed up, I think, a couple times in the 60s, maybe even once. But he randomly just shows up in Fear Itself, the Marvel event from 2011, just randomly shows up. Let me read you this. Asbestos Man is revealed to have developed cancer due to the toxicity of his super asbestos suit.
Super. It's still super.
And is now living in an oxygen tank.
Super toxic.
So didn't
Randomly
turn out
shows
too
up.
well for him. He makes it clear that he wants to return to his life as a villain, but is persuaded not to by the Great Lakes Avengers. So not even like the main Avengers team. Just like send them to stop Asbestos Man from thinking about going out again and infecting people with his asbestos contamination. And then years later, the Human Torch just mentions that he died. So
Just throws it out there. Like,
yeah,
hey
he's
guys,
dead.
remember that?
Exactly. Yeah. No, he's dead. Really? Yeah. He had an asbestos suit, man. He's dead.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of a miracle he lasted as long as he did.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I-
Asbestos Lady was dead in the 90s.
Yeah,
so,
right.
at
Yeah,
least
so
he
So
waited
he lasted
so
a little bit
later.
longer, I guess. But I mean, when you think of pathetic villains, this is pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
Asbestos Man, asbestos super suit, and then he dies just later of cancer
Right.
from toxic,
From his own suit.
From his own suit.
In
That's
a
pretty freaking bad.
Twist of Saturday morning special.
Yeah.
Well, kids, let me tell you about this thing, asbestos. It's a carcinogenic.
Yeah, and you'll die eventually. Might be slow, but you'll be dead.
Oh gosh,
We're gonna
things
ram
just
that
got
in there.
so
Yeah,
dark.
right.
Yeah, exactly. So those are our worst Marvel comic book villains.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pretty bad.
Those are pretty bad.
Can we see? I would love to see some kind of like animated version of these characters. A stilt-man, I think, would be really fun.
Yeah, I feel like-
and Matador too.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Asbestos Man would just be sad, but I would still love to see it.
He'd just be sad.
Yeah, but I mean
no.
seriously, with like put
Stilt-man, I can
Stilt-Man,
kind of see
boing, have him-
Stilt-man like in a cartoon or
Yeah, that would be
something.
fun.
Like one of the animated shows.
the Matador, something ridiculous. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
put him in there. That'd be fun. Let's give these guys a chance.
Well, like another one that's kind of ridiculous, like Whirlwind. Is that one
Oh,
of those or whatever? Like,
Oh
I know he
gosh.
popped up in one of the cartoons.
I forgot about that.
and
Yeah, he's like
basically
Tasmanian
like,
devil.
Exactly. Yeah, he looks like it's like he has a suit, and again, he just has a suit that allows him. I think he's a normal guy who just allows him to, basically Tasmanian devil all over the place. So
Of course.
But he wound up
Why not?
in one of the Avengers cartoons, I think.
Well, there you go.
He wasn't a cartoon, yeah.
Right.
I remember that.
Well, let's talk about picks of the week, comic book picks of the week, which are all centered around these guys. Jim, where did your guy appear in? Where did Stilt-Man appear?
I think it was originally Daredevil #8.
Okay.
It was 1965.
Right. So we'll throw that picture up there. There you go. Heather, where did the Matador appear?
Daredevil #5, 1964.
Go check that out. Go. I'm sure it's online
Oh,
somewhere.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure.
And the recent one was 2006. So.
Oh, yeah, it was Daredevil Volume 2, number 89.
Okay, so check out that one too for the revival.
return.
The return
The
of
much in-demand
Juan,
revival.
even
Right.
though
Yeah.
it's a different guy.
Different
Doing
guy,
different
but
things
still.
for different reasons.
He's like,
Right.
you're paying me, right? So I just have to put on the costume and you do.
Exactly. So yeah, Asbestos Man. It's a real thing. Asbestos Man, Strange Tales number 111 from August 1963. That might be online somewhere. Go check that out. And also, if you want to see him, his big comeback in Fear Itself, which was a big Marvel crossover from 2011. So check out that if you want to see the return of Asbestos Man. I heard, I haven't actually read Fear Itself, but I heard it's pretty good. So go check that one out for yourself.
Well, and I was saying earlier, too, Marvel has compiled a lot of their Gold and Silver Age comics into these essential omnibuses.
Right.
So those are always really interesting to check out. I used to have a whole bunch of copies in my classroom. The kids would always take them, take a look. They're just called like Essential Iron Man or Essential Daredevil.
Right, yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Right. So what's your guys' least favorite, or I don't know, the worst Marvel villain? Do you
Right,
think
right.
these guys
There's
are the
some-
worst?
some
Who's the
real
worst
stinkers
among
out
us?
Yeah.
Who do
Yeah,
you
rank
think is
them.
the worst?
Yeah,
rank
right?
them 1 to 3.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Asbestos Man, I think, kind of takes the cake.
I mean, it's
I don't
because
know.
he's so pathetic.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Right.
He's so pathetic.
Yeah.
But if you have someone worse, let us know in the comments below, because I would love to hear worse than Asbestos Man or Stilt Man with Matador. Please. I would love to hear something worse than that. Jim,
yeah.
almost forgot.
my
You're on Facebook, right?
Yeah, Facebook at Jim J. Raz.
Right.
And yeah.
Okay.
Check me out on
Awesome
Awesome
Build.
Builds.
Go ahead and check that out. Heather?
You can find me on Twitter at Heather Roos or Instagram at HRoos.
Okay, cool. And I am on Twitter, as usual, at awesome_Walter. Been getting a lot of feedback on those cartoon top 5s I've been doing, so yeah, keep suggesting stuff you guys want to see on there, and for Awesome Comics as well. And make sure to like the Facebook page, facebook.com/awesomecomicshow. As I said before, every Thursday, new videos, and sometimes more than once a week, so exclusive content to our Facebook page. So until next time, these guys are great. They're not the worst. They're the opposite of the worst.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that's why I was on this episode. Like, we need
The worst, we need Jim on there.
what can we default
No,
to?
never,
Right.
Jim, never.
So until next week, guys, we'll see you on the next page.